Good morning. This is Craig Dees with Cloud Action, welcoming you to today's technical session on how to integrate Remedyforce and Microsoft TFS in 30 minutes. Before we get started, and as we still have a few people that are trying, I can tell that are trying to get log in, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. All attendees' phones are on mute. If you notice, there's a control panel on the right side of your screen. That's where to enter your questions that we will pick up. We will answer every one that we get during our session today. If we don't get it, despite our best intentions, we will email your response, our response to you. So with that, I'd like to hand the floor over to Cloud Action's co-founder and president, Samir Kumar. Samir?
Thank you, Craig. Again, welcome and good morning and good evening. It depends where you are. So today's, we will make it very interactive, very technical focus. Because the idea of today's webinar is to learn as much as possible how you can integrate your Remedyforce and if you have Microsoft TFS. So in today's call, I'm going to introduce you Lisa Cross of PNC. We will talk about two-way communication between Remedyforce and TFS. It will be pretty hands-on webinar. Our Director of Engineering, Colin Parker, is going to run that. And at the end of the call, we'll have a few minutes open for Q&A. Next slide, Colin. So let me introduce you Lisa Cross. She is a Principal Customer Success Manager with BNC Software. Lisa, she manages and collaborates with a wide variety of Remedyforce customers, from maturing to mature. So Lisa, I'd like you to introduce yourself and tell us about your role as a part of your VNC Customer Success Management team.
Thank you, Samir. As a customer success manager, my role is really focused on helping customers realize value from their investment in Remedyforce. We focus on success planning, product enablement with customers so they're better able to meet business and technical objectives within their organizations.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa, and again, thank you very much for joining us today. Since you collaborate with a wide range of Remedyforce customers, some maturing, some are matured, tell us a little bit about what you are seeing in general as to their integration requirement in the Remedyforce on a platform, and the customer who is looking beyond to their initial intent of ITSM. Give us some of your perspective, what you're seeing there.
Sure. Integrations are really a natural extension of the value of the Remedyforce solution, whether it's a help desk that's looking for greater efficiency or a human resource department looking to increase effectiveness. Customers regularly ask about integrations between Remedyforce and other software packages that are important to their business. Some examples include telephony integrations, as well as integrations with project monitoring or automation packages.
Okay, thank you. So it relates to ActionHub. I'm sure you have seen we have wide varieties of connectors. What is more in demand from the go-to integration perspective from your Remedyforce customer base?
I think in many of our Remedyforce implementations, there are strong ties between the service management staff or the help desk and the development or engineering teams. And that creates an interest in integrations between Remedyforce and TFS that we're going to look at today, as well as Remedyforce and Jira. So if we look at some use cases there, support teams that are escalating Remedyforce tickets and have the need to create a work item in TFS for the engineering team, or the engineering team that's requesting additional information to resolve an issue that the support team has posed to them. So that bidirectional communication And we also see a strong interest in integrations with Remedyforce around operations management, monitoring, and automation with tools like BMC's TrueSight or Control-M. Having the ability, for instance, to automatically generate and close Remedyforce incidents from TrueSight alerts, or the ability to automatically create and deactivate Active Directory profiles in TrueSight from Remedyforce self-service requests. These are just some examples of the power and the value that ActionHub integrations can bring to Remedyforce implementations. And our customers regularly express the value that they see from these integrations in our discussions.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you very much. Maybe some more questions will come out after we do the hands-on session. Thank you again.
Sure.
Colin, can you move next slide, please? So basically, this slide, I brought it together for everybody, with just Lisa spoke about what she is seeing from her customer base, and also in general, we talked to BMC and we see what customer is looking for. So when they got Remedyforce as a centerpiece for IT service management, they start maturing, then they start asking more questions, what they can do with their Remedyforce investment, how they can take it beyond the initial intent of IT service management, the help desk. So Cloud came up with this idea of ActionHub, how we can integrate with your existing applications, enterprise, on a cloud or off the cloud or on-prem. So this slide pretty much demonstrates the fact that if you as a customer has take an example of IT app dev, they are using a product Jira or TFS and Rally. We have those connectors. You can connect. If you have IT support and operations using different tools, we talked about TrueSight or Splunk or BMC Atrium Orchestration or Control-M or SolarWinds, you can connect them purely from the proactive monitoring perspective, also from the orchestrations and automation perspective. Some of the customers which we have seen, they have a Salesforce solution like Service Cloud, Communities Cloud, and a Sales Cloud to serve their partner, their customer, their employee, and they have some needs from IT service management. You can make a two-way communication. The point we are making here is very simple, that ActionHub is built on a Remedyforce platform to do one thing, how we can enable your 360-degree digital service management needs. And these are the areas where we are working with our customers, connecting IT to HR, IT to facilities, IT to legal department, to sales department, service department, employee, doesn't matter. You can do all of the stuff as you start using these solutions beyond the initial intent of IT. Let's go to the next slide. So this just summarizes what ActionHub is, which you're going to see the demonstrations. So basically, this is built on a Salesforce platform. It's on an AppExchange. It's an approved app. It is, you can consider it as an extension of Remedyforce, which can have a plug and play connectors where your needs can be enabled on a few hours versus few months of development. We do have some connectors ready to go with Jira, with Microsoft SCOM, for Scotch, TFS, we're going to do it today, TrueSight, Service Cloud, SolarWinds, ServiceNow, Splunk, and more. I don't want to take a lot of your time, and I will hand it over to Colin Parker to show us his TFS, Remedyforce, connectors and the use case.
Thank you, Samir. So yeah, let's dive right in, since Lisa and Samir gave me a good intro into what we're going to be taking a look at today. So what we're going to do is run through the demo, show you the use case of collaborating in real time between your service desk and your development team, and then we're going to take a quick look at the rules inside of ActionHub that help enable this integration to happen. So first off, we're going to go create our incident. So we'll just give it a client here. Next one down, we're going to fill in is our issue type, so work items, and this is very similar to Jira as well. but work items in TFS, there's a bunch of different types. So this allows you to select which type of work item you're actually going to go create in TFS. So we're going to pick bug for this demo. And then we're going to have our category to fill in. Now the way this is set up, we have our top level category of our TFS projects. And so basically this allows you to dynamically say which project you're actually going to create this work item under inside of TFS. So for this demo, we're going to use our Jira adapter. We're going to say we're having some issue with the Jira adapter that we have. Then we'll put in a short description. We'll just say we're having a Jira date time issue with the adapter. And for a description, we'll just say we can't convert to the Jira date time. All right, and then down below that, we're going to fill in our impact and urgency. So we'll set these to medium for this case. And the last piece of information that actually kicks off the integration is the assignment down here. So we have this set up so anything that gets assigned to our app development team queue is going to go and create a work item in TFS for them. So we'll select that, hit save here. All right, that got created. So let's go ahead and refresh, and we should see right here where we have the view TFS work item field. That should go in and fill in a link for us. Reload that one more time. All right, let me see what's going on with this. I'm just trying to create one more. Oh, here we go. It's a little slow today, apparently. Let me reload this. Here we go, work item 17. A little slow today for some reason, sorry about that. So now we have a link to our newly created work item. So I can go ahead and click on that, and it's going to bring me directly to the work item that got created inside of TFS. And a few things you'll notice in here is that we actually brought over that impact and urgency and mapped it to the values that make sense in TFS and did the translation here. So we'll take a look at the end in the rule how we did this to bring those values and line them up with the values that we have in TFS. So typically the next thing that happens here is the dev team picks it up, and they usually need some more information from the service desk. Maybe they didn't get all the information they needed to resolve the issue when it first got created. So now we can go and send back a message to the service desk. We'll say, please send a screenshot of the error. And we'll go ahead and save that as a note in here in TFS. And so what will happen now is that'll come over to Remedyforce and go create a note right on our incident so that the service desk can see that they need to get some more information over to the dev team. So if I go back over to my incident, and I'll go and hit reload, you'll see that we have our our new note in here from the dev team. So this gives you that real-time collaboration. Now the service desk can go get a screenshot from the customer, or maybe they'll have it on hand. So what we'll do is go down to our attachments area, and we'll attach our ActionHub banner as an example. So now ActionHub will pick this up, and it'll go send it over across back to our work item in TFS. Go refresh this, and you'll see we have our new attachment or ActionHub banner. All right, so you can send back and forth, updates on the actual work items or the incident. You have notes, you have attachments, all those things that you really need to collaborate with your teams. Now, typically the last thing is, the dev team fixes the issue, and then they need to let the service desk know that it's now been resolved and closed out. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and change the status to closed, or state to closed. Give that a save. And then in just a few seconds, we should see it show up over in our Remedyforce incidents. So let's go back to our main page and give it a refresh. And you'll see now that the incident is closed out from our integration. So that's just very, very quick look at the life cycle, that'll happen between a bug that comes in for the development team through the service request. So now that we have that done, let's take a quick look at the rules to show you, how you set this up. So the first thing I'll show you in here, this is our list of our rules inside ActionHub. As you can see, we have quite a few in here for other demos as well. But the focus here is going to be on these 4. So everything I showed you just now is done with these 4 different rules. So you have one for the create of your work item, one for transferring the history over, one for the attachments, and then one at the end for sending over that closed status update. So the one we're going to take a look at is the create TFS work item. So I have that open in this tab here. The rules are very, simple to set up. Very, it's all click and point. No code is, required for it. So, up at the top here, we're just setting up, hey, when something comes through in Salesforce and it's an incident, and the queue is equal to app development. So that was our triggering point. When it first gets assigned to the app development team, we're going to go and fire off an action. Now down below, you see this is our action. So we have it hooked up to our TFS demo environment, and then we're going to go create a work item inside of there. Now you'll notice that we have this default collection here. Now as part of our adapter, we actually support not using the default collection. You can use a different one, and you can also use multiple collections as well, if that's what you have implemented inside your TFS system. So going down here at the mapping, which is really the most critical piece, we have our team project that got mapped to category, like I spoke of earlier. Our issue type is getting mapped to our work item type, and short description to title, description to description. And then down here is where we do our translation mapping between our, our severity and our priority to TFS. So I can go and open the builder here. And what this does is this gives you a bunch of options for doing translation. We have a bunch of, you get to see all your fields, and we also have a bunch of functions you can use to manipulate this data before sending it across. And you can even create your own functions as well if these don't meet your needs. If you have very specialized data manipulation you have to do, you can build out your own functions in here. So let me just load up one of these mappings. So this is RF to TFS severity. So if I go click on edit there, you'll see it's very simple, straightforward. You just put in what value it's going to come in as from Remedyforce, and then this is the value that you're going to get out on the TFS side. So it's really easy to build out these maps and then just pass in your value, and it'll handle picking the right one for you there. So then you don't have to go and make changes in both systems to make them line up. You want to let your teams be in their own processes and not affect those, which is really the power of this. You're not causing great change between the two teams. You're just kind of translating between them so they can have their own processes and not get affected by the integration. And then the last thing here at the bottom is we're just mapping back in our response mappings. This gives us the ability to map back data once that work item has been created. So we're just mapping back the work item ID, which gives us that nice link on the form to take us right directly to the work item. And so that's a rule in a nutshell. So let me bring back up the presentation and we can continue on from there.
All right, thanks, Colin. If you go to the next slide. So the people who joined us today, just to give you who we are. So we are Cloud Action. We are purely focused on one thing, implementing Remedyforce and a Salesforce-based solution. In the last 3 years, we have implemented 275 plus Remedyforce implementation. That has given us a lot of leverage to learn what customer is asking for, and we as a company, what we can do for them. And that gives an opportunity to create actionHub, which we launched in last year in Dreamforce, and it was a pretty huge success over there. And we continue to see the people use case requirement, and we are answering those as it comes to us. Other than that, we definitely have our experienced certified consultant in multiple locations, US and outside US. And we have a very strategic partnership with BNC and a Salesforce. We work with the BNC R&D team, their customer success team, their support team. So that's who we are. Again, our website is www.cloudaction.com. If you need any help, you can reach out to us. We do have some questions. I think we have a few minutes left here. So I'm going to go ahead with the first question, I believe. This is for Colin. The question is, if the business requirement changes, you went through the mapping, so they have to reestablish a new mapping, what would they need to do? Is they have to write a code, or what the customer would like to do to make the changes?
Yeah, so it's pretty easy. You just need to go back into the GUI and look up that rule that you need to change. And then one thing that I didn't go quite in depth into is that we have those drop-down lists. So we're actually pulling the fields out of TFS into the actionHub interface. So if you ever need to make a mapping change, you can just easily go in there and you're going to have a list of fields right from TFS to map to, which makes it, and it goes the same for Remedyforce. So it makes it really easy, just to line up those fields real quick. If you have to make a change, it's not a big deal. So, that's just something it's nice to have, so you don't make sure, you don't mistype a name and now you're getting an error because that data is not coming across. So the UI definitely helps drive a lot of, easy changes in the product.
Okay, thank you. There is another question. The question is, if they like to move forward with actionHub, how long it takes to set it up and make it functional? I can give my perspective. I've seen a lot of customers using our product. It takes, if you have what the requirements are pretty much ready to go, then the technical part doesn't take more than a few days. Just installing, mapping, and testing, and then moving into the production. Colin, do you have any other perspective or experience, since you also work with customer during the implementation time?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that we see is actionHub does a great job of handling the technical aspects of it, and we can get, something that's just talking back and forth between the two systems in, a matter of just a day or two. And what that really helps with is it helps our customers focus on the process side. It makes them focus on the business side of things. Like, okay, now you have this tool that you can configure, to whatever your process needs. So now what is your process and how do we automate that? So it kind of changes up the conversation and really puts it into the process realm, which is where you want to be, because it's all, revolving around the business. So that's probably the biggest thing, and I always try to stress to our customers is to focus on the process, let actionHub do the technical heavy lifting.
Thank you, Colin. I have multiple questions, more questions here, but I'm going to take the last one. The question here is, if they would like to do some test drive or download, what would be the procedure? I can answer that question. So this actionHub is on AppExchange. If you go to AppExchange and search it, you will see that, and you can download it. We as a company also provide a complimentary kind of POC support. So if you need any help to set it up, just reach out to us through our website. Colin, if you go to the next slide, we have those information. The real one is called Ask Us Now. That's on our website. If you just request what you need from us, and we will respond within 24 hours, and we'll help you. There is a lot of YouTube videos put about ActionHub, how to set it up. So if you need any help over there, that's available. Having said that, thank you very much, and I'll hand it over to you, Craig, if you want to put some closing remark.
Thanks, Samir.
I got it?
Yeah, I got it. Want to thank everyone for joining. We did record today's session, and I'll send out a recording of it to all of everyone who registered, and we'll post it out on our YouTube channel. Also want to remind you that we will be joining BMC at the T3 Service Management and Automation Conference, November 6th through 10th in Las Vegas. Samir and Colin both have speaking roles out there, and Colin will be doing a hands-on lab for folks who are out there who want to get a better kind of test drive ActionHub and see run it through its paces at that event. And with that, we will conclude today's session, and be on the lookout for some new sessions as we head further into Q4. Everybody, go out and have a great day. Thank you.